I suppose open is good.
Okay.
Open is good. Okay. Thank you. You can go ahead and open it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Go ahead and open it. Thank you very much. Oh my goodness. Before I get started, I kind of have a question for you all. Who's seen me do this before? I see a few. Okay. Oh, thank you. Well, I have some bad news for you. It's the same bad news I had for you last time, is that these really are the only jokes I know. And I have no new material whatsoever. But people seem to enjoy the material I do have, so I figured I'd just, do it all over again. I was up during dinner. I was eating dinner with my family. I was up from the table getting salt or something, and the phone rang. And I was closest to it. So I picked it up and I said, "Hello?" And this guy on the other end, he's like, "George?" I said, "No, there's no George here, sir. I'm sorry." "Okay. All right. Okay, goodbye." And I hung up the phone. My name's Andrea, for those of you who don't know me, and I just want to clarify a couple of things. The first thing is that no, I do not smoke. People ask me that sometimes. They say, "Do you smoke?" "Only when I'm on fire." Yeah. The second thing I want to get out of the way is that, today's day and age, in case anybody's wondering this, yes, I have always been female. I intend to stay that way. But I just wanted to get that out of the way because there have been a handful of small children throughout my lifetime. They come up to me and they hear me talking out here and they see the long hair and they look at me and they go, "Are you a girl or a boy?" Sometimes I just want to mess with them and be like, "Don't tell anybody, I'm actually an alien." No, I could never do that. But I just wanted to clarify that, but it's all natural. Ever since I was a baby, since I was an infant, I've had this crazy, crazy low, freaky voice. And who's ever heard a baby cry in somewhere supposed to be quiet, like a library or church? Yeah, you know what they sound like. It's these high-pitched, piercing wails that kind of reverberate, and they drill a nice little hole in your cranium right here. And they're kind of hard to differentiate between normal babies. That's how they're supposed to cry. But everybody could tell it when I cried. I didn't cry like that. Mine was more of like a... I sound like Chewbacca or something. It's just... Yeah. And now here's my educational moment for the evening, is that everybody actually has two voices, at least. Everybody's got a high voice and they've got a low voice. And your high voice is the airier, lighter one. It's concentrated in your head and your nasal cavities. It's the one you use when you're cheering for your favorite sports team. You're going, "Woo!" That voice is called head voice. And this voice down here, the one that rumbles in your sternum, that voice, it's the one you use when your sports team is losing. You're going, "Oh!" That one is known as chest voice. And when a woman has an exceedingly low chest voice, she is known as a contralto. There are other more common voice part names. There's soprano and alto and tenor bass, and there's several others, but contralto is the name for the lowest female voice. And that's what I was growing up. Of course, I never talked down here. I always talked up here because this is where all the other little girls talked. And you're insecure, you're young, you want to fit in, so this is where I always talked. And I also kind of hoped that if I spoke up here enough that it would just kind of stick, because I would have just died to be a soprano. Oh, I had serious soprano denial growing up. I used to try and sing all the highest parts. I would practice with my mother's Phantom of the Opera CD. Yeah, I'd pop that thing in and try and sing along with Christine. So Phantom's there, he's going, "Sing for me, my angel of music," and Christine is singing somewhere up in the stratosphere that I can't even touch it. I'm trying to sing along. It's just not happening. I had a low voice, not a high voice. My voice is so low, true story. My brother once told me that if I married a bass, our children would shake the house when they talk.
You know, can you imagine that, coming home from school? Mom, I'm home.
Oh, how was school, sweetheart?
Just fine.
Do you have a lot of homework?
No.
Oh, really?
I mean, yes. What's for dinner, Mom?
Just shaking the house. But, yeah. My voice doesn't quite shake the house where I am now, but it can get a little bit awkward, especially on the telephone. I have been mistaken for every male in my house on the telephone. That's my dad and my older brother, my younger brother, my younger brother, and my baby brother. And a guy named George, but I don't know what that was about. Of course, one of these times was partly my own fault because one of my brothers had this friend that would call all the time, every day. And I would pick up the phone.
Hello, is Dan there? Yeah, hang on. Hello, is Dan there? Yeah, just a minute. Hello? And
this one time, I don't know what I was thinking. It's just a bad idea. I was feeling sick of it. I don't know. So I pick up the phone again.
hello, is Dan there? Yeah, this is Daniel.
And the funny thing is, I didn't really think it was all that difficult to carry on a conversation with this kid. I mean, it wasn't a very deep conversation, but, you know, I'm saying things like,
Yeah, not much. Football. Nintendo.
yeah, I was thinking to myself at the time, I'm like, guys don't really converse, do they? I thought it was like Tim the Toolman Taylor. They just kind of have these grunt sessions. They're like,
Manly sounds.
I don't know. Yeah. It was also weird in school. It was awkward in school sometimes. Of course, everything's awkward in school, high school. I was in choir. Actually, I was in 2 choirs. And the 2 choirs I was in, they had different uniforms. And the way they got around that at concerts was they would have one choir perform first, and then they'd have all the other choirs, and then they'd put the other choir at the end. And that gave the time for the ladies who were in the different choirs to change into a different dress. And, you know, the guys, they're in their tuxedos all night, they're good, but the ladies had to change clothes. I had to be really, really careful in the dressing rooms. You know, if I accidentally slipped just a little bit of chest voice, I'd be like,
Can you hand me that hanger over there?
"There's a guy in the dressing room!"
All the ladies run for cover.
Oh, it's just Andrea, okay. If I was feeling mean, I'd do that on purpose. You know, I'd kind of lag behind, let them all go in, and wait a few minutes and walk in and say something like,
But this isn't the orchestra room.
no. Yeah, school was great. It was also awkward one time when I was at a concert. I was at an Inside Out concert. Anybody see Inside Out? Yeah, they're great. I love Inside Out. They were touring down here, and they're up on stage, and they're singing, and they're beatboxing, and Paul is up there doing his trademark backflip, and all the fangirls are going nuts, and I almost joined in with them. I almost, this is what I almost did.
I love you, Paul!
But I caught myself in the nick of time because it occurred to me how odd that might have sounded. Yeah. Sometimes my voice just flips out for no reason whatsoever. I'll be like, gentlemen, you ever have those times?
Maybe when you're a little bit younger, you're talking down here and you're being very sophisticated and mature and you're talking about important adult things and suddenly your voice flips up for no reason.
You ever have those times? Yeah. It's embarrassing. I gotta say, I feel your pain because my voice does that too. My voice does that backwards. So, you know, I'll be talking to my girlfriends on the phone, and then I went shopping, and I went to this store and that store, and then I was in this other store, and I went to the jewelry, and I saw this totally adorable necklace. No, it's just a frog in my throat. Yeah, no, yeah. I'll try to laugh it off. I'll start laughing too hard. Oh, it's bad. But, yeah. I think the very worst time my voice flipped out on me was, I remember it very clearly. I was sitting at home, I was at the computer, and my dad called. And he had called to, I could tell by the tone of his voice something was pretty bad, and so he called to let me know that a dear family friend of ours had passed away. And it was a very sad phone call, and as soon as I hung up, the first thing I did, right in the computer chair, was I sobbed, because I was sad. And one of my brothers was walking by at the time, right at that moment, and he looked at me like I had just grown like 6 more eyeballs out of my forehead. And I imagine this is because I never really cried very much, and when I did, I sounded like Chewbacca with a head cold, and so that made me feel even worse. And so I'm like, I can't even cry like a normal human being. What's wrong with me? So I scurried off to my parents' bedroom and had a good cry in there instead. But it was funny, because when I was in there, the phone rang again, and I picked it up, and it was this lady named Sandra. Now, months previously, Sandra had done a clinic at our school with our choir. And she was a great teacher, great lady, and she'd left a sign-up sheet for in case anybody wanted to take voice lessons, get more information. So I put my name down and I forgot about it. And now months later, when I'm feeling the worst about my voice, I hate my voice and just hating it, I get this call from this lady, and we're talking about my voice and my range, and she's telling me that she thinks my voice is the coolest thing in the world. I'm like, how cool is that, right? When I'm feeling the lowest about it, she calls and just lifts me right up. I know it sounds like one of those cliche stories you hear in like a chicken soup book, but it just really made my day. And, you know, so a bunch of my friends were taking lessons from her at the time, and they were encouraging me to get into it too, so I gave into peer pressure and started taking lessons. And at one point she tells me, Andrea, you have such a rare and wonderful gift. I'm like, rare and wonderful gift? Rare and wonderful gift, I sound like a man. But seriously, she helped me not only to develop my voice, my high voice and my low voice, but she helped me to look for more of the positives. And, you know, there were plenty of positives to look at. People take you seriously when your voice is lower, you know. I had this friend who, she had this cute little adorable pixie voice, the kind I always wanted. But for the life of her, she just could not order a pizza. Nobody took her, she was like, yeah, I want it this way and that kind. And they're like, why don't you put your parents on the phone, sweetheart? Yeah, I never had that problem. I'd be like, I want 2 large, I want one ham and pineapple, the other sausage and pepperoni. And they're like, is this for pickup or delivery? Pickup. And your name, sir? George. So anyway, one of the biggest positive things I saw, though, was right after I graduated from high school, I went and I applied and auditioned at the community college, and I remember the song I sang for the choir guy there. His name was Dr. Bennett. He was very intimidating. Sandra picked out this song for me. It was called Death and the Maiden, and it was in German, and it ended on some note down near the Earth's core. And he was very impressed with my low voice. And he was so impressed that he gave me a scholarship. I got to free school for like 2 years. Yes. Anyway, so I figured, you know, I could still make beautiful music without having to be a soprano. I could still be a contralto, and it was rich and deep and beautiful, and it truly was rare and wonderful. And if there's one thing I could get you all to take home from this, it would be to appreciate the gifts that God has given you, because God does not hand out curses. He only hands out blessings that may or may not be in disguise. And all of you truly are rare and wonderful in your own ways, and you have been rare and wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Sorry.
Hey, good job.
Thank you.
That was fun.
Oh, thank you.